I think there is an error in the lecture title. Just give me a second so I can modify it. Now it's good. Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everyone. Please, our attendees who's listening to us or watching us via LinkedIn or Facebook, please comment on whatever you want, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, or 3 or 4, because I know there is a lot of non-Arabic speakers is watching us right now. So I just want to make sure that the sound is working fine with everyone. Sorry for this, but we have to check the sound every time because once we start, we cannot get back. So please bear with me. I think there's 252 audience via LinkedIn. So please, I need to see more comments to make sure everything is working fine, because we're gonna start immediately, inshallah. Okay, I think the sound is great in Zoom and LinkedIn. I see it's okay right now. So we shall start. Just 1 second. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is good and enjoying our lecture today. Today is the 6th or 7th lecture in our 12 free lectures in project management. We previously started the certified contract manager lectures and engineering arbitrations. And here we are with the 3rd course in cost estimation with our instructor engineer Fawzi Haraz. Let me give a brief introduction regarding the course content and the instructor resume or CV. Then I will let the mic with him so we can enjoy the material or the content with him. Just 1 second. I will open the PDF. I have to mention that this is our first course with full English language. The course will be delivered totally by the instructor, by the English language, and also the material will be delivered in the same language, because a lot of our students requested to start an English courses. So this is the first one, and it won't be the last. There is also another 2 courses in delay analysis and advanced planning and schedules will be coming shortly this month, inshallah. The course today with the title of Project Cost Estimation Training Course and Workshop, and it's a part of like a diploma for project management, contains a lot of courses for those who are interested to start their career in project management, like project cost estimation, project cost control, planning, scheduling, advanced planning and scheduling, delay analysis, and Primavera, Power BI, and a lot of other courses. But I believe there is no room to get into all the details right now. So let's start with course objectives and course details. The course objectives is to acquire and practice the concepts, tools, and procedures to become a competent estimator along the career path in cost engineering and future in project controls and project management rules. Who should attend the course? Project managers, project control engineers, planning and scheduling engineers, project engineering staff planning to move to project controls, cost estimator, contract engineers, procurement engineers, and technical office and the quantity surveyors, of course. The course outlines as following: cost management overview and cost estimation items. And the third is computer-based estimating tools, case studies, and way forward, post-course assessment workshop, and top 10 takeaways. Let's get into the details of the previous points. Cost management overview acronyms, the 4 project management business drivers, cost management in the project management map, life cycle cost engineering, fundamentals for the cost engineering process, focus areas of cost engineering, project cost model, direct and indirect cost, rules and responsibilities in cost management, cost estimation skills and knowledge, cost estimation methodologies, cost estimate classes and accuracies, approaches to cost estimation application areas and application to various industrial projects, life cycle cost estimation, CAPEX, OPEX, DCAP cost estimation, checklist for cost estimation, pitfalls or shortfalls in cost estimation. Also, there is a lot of details, but just don't want to get deep into all of them. I want to have a room to Engineer Fawzi to amuse us today with the knowledge he has gained. And cost control and cost influencing, information sources for cost control, rules and responsibilities in cost control, project variation and project claims, cost tracking, cost forecasting and trending, cost reporting and management presentations, and special cost estimation workshops. Let's start with instructor education. BSc Marine Engineering and Naval Architectural, June 1975, chartered engineer, member of Institute of Marine Engineers Science and Technology, member of AACE, key training experience, project development planning at Al Furat Oil Company in Damascus, 1995, project controls at Petrobel in Cairo, 1995, earned value management, Ecoman Dubai, 2013, project cost estimation at Ecoman Consulting in Dubai, 2017, certified contract management at PTS Consulting in Dubai, 2017, project planning scheduling at Ecoman in Istanbul, project technical and economical evaluation in Kuala Lumpur, value engineering basics at ADNOC Abu Dhabi, June 2019 and 18, effective maintenance management for Winter Skull Libya, oil and gas maintenance strategies in Sudan and Kazakhstan, facilities management at Ecoman Dubai. With his work experience, project controls manager at Ethedco Petrochemical Plant, project control manager Kashagan Project, Agib KCO, project manager at ABB Oil and Gas Company, lead project control engineer at Petrobel INI in Egypt, project coordinator at Za'farana Oil Company, British Gas JV, senior planning engineer, Swiss Oil Company. And this was a brief introduction regarding the course or the CV for the instructor. And let's welcome our instructor, Engineer Fawzi. You can start from here, Engineer Fawzi.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. شكرا يا باشمهندس محمد على المقدمة، وأرجو إن احنا الحضور يعني يلاقوا ريفليكشن في اللي هيشوفوه اللي هيسمعوه إن شاء الله. So I say thank you, Mohammed, and we hope that we will prove ourselves not through the words that Muhammad gave just ago, but through the material that you will receive and the values that you will acquire through this lecture and the coming lectures, inshallah. So let us start share the file with you. Okay, here is it. Okay. Okay, the course title, is it cost estimation or cost management or cost engineering? Definitely the broad scope is cost management because it goes further beyond estimation to monitoring, to control, to influencing and cost reduction, cost control. So let's move on. The overview, okay. First of all, as you checked, let us make sure that the communication is okay, the sound and receiving and sending. Second, let us make sure that the course is run on a dialogue style, not a monologue style. That's to say, I will be speaking and you will be asking questions, you will be clarifying points, you will be taking notes, and maybe at break times you raise these notes. I want to make sure that you participate on the course. From previous courses, indeed, I go to the course with the intent that I will be giving some information, some values, and will be receiving and learning some information. I'm talking to professional champions in project, in engineering, in technical office, in cost management. So I expect that the course, I hope, will go on a dialogue style. Muhammad Khairi, welcome. Okay. So this Muhammad has already surveyed the contents. Okay, then we go to the point of breaks. I think soon, maybe 10, 15 minutes, we'll have to take a break. Maybe most of us will do the Maghrib prayer and then come back for the rest of the lecture. That's it. Okay, so that's me. Muhammad introduced this. Okay. This slide, I mean the course mission. So what's this message? Is requesting remote control of your computer, decline. Someone is hacking my machine. Okay, the course mission, number one, value driven. As I said before, we should exchange our experience. Maybe I have more in one side. Maybe you can add to me your experience. Number two is very important. We will be focusing on the product, not the process. The theories and pure procedure sometimes is more boring than interesting, and we need to speak less on process and more on the product. At the end of the course, most of us will be able or should be able to make an estimate, any sort of estimate to a certain quality and certain shape and content. So this is, we will be focusing on the product. As always, actually, my preferred way of instruction is to, at the end, what can I do now after 25 hours of instructions, where I were at the beginning and where I am now at the end of the course. So this is the difference. Interactive dialogue, as I said, flexible to participant specific needs. Now you have known me, I don't know most of you. Where is your background? Which industry are you from? Process power, or are you from construction, infrastructures, whatever. So the course actually was designed to serve both process oil and gas side as well as the infrastructure and construction industry. The cases and the examples address both sides of the business. So I will be flexible to participant specific needs. Anyone can ask any question from any industry he comes. If I know the answer, I will be glad to give. Otherwise, I will ask for some time to investigate and come back. Okay, we'll be pragmatic with the relevant industry needs, whatever we are addressing, civil, infrastructure, or process industry. Industry driven, essentially it was energy, oil and gas energy, with cases and examples, but there is always room for growth and improvement. To start with, let's agree that an estimator is an estimator. There is no civil estimator or mechanical estimator or infrastructure estimator or oil and gas estimator. Let's focus on this. Estimation is two things: knowledge and concepts. Every estimator, all estimators should know the concepts and tools. Their knowledge might not be complete because no one knows all the industries. So I mean to say that no one of you should lose interest if I say it's addressing mainly oil and gas, but what I came from construction, I came from civil. It is the same approach, whether you came from whatever industry and doing whatever estimate required. Just remember that you need to learn the concepts and tools, and then the knowledge. This is another part. I'm not skilled in, I may be skilled in oil and gas and power, but not that much skilled in civil and infrastructure. If I'm asked to do an estimate for a suspension bridge or a tunnel, what can I do? I cannot say, no, this is out my scope, I cannot do that. I actually will go find, I need to see the project people, because I'm not working alone. There is a project organization and there are people around me. There are engineers, there are contract administrators, there are surveyors, whatever. I will go and ask them for all the information I need to acquire the knowledge that help me. In this case, then I started with my concepts and tools, which are essential for any estimator in any field, and complemented or added to this the knowledge through communication. This is the magic word. Communication is essential in all management roles addressing our area, which is project controls, and within the project cost estimation and planning. These areas need very strong and effective communication, because you will be handling different situations, different projects, different requirements, and you need to stand up all these different things. We don't expect that you should be an expert in bridges and tunnels and refineries and power stations. No. Every project of this has its own technical people, and then you will complement and amend your tools and concepts with the knowledge, so that you'll be able to make a robust and quality estimate. So this is the point about industry driven. Over the years, when you mix with different industries, you will build up your own knowledge and information. You will build up your norms and unit rates in these things. So maybe after 20, 30 years, you can see estimators who really are magnificent in various industries. They can approach process and power, they can approach civil and infrastructure, and in all cases, they still need to exercise communication with their colleagues to make their estimate as complete as possible. So any training initiative is a start, is just one page of building our knowledge. And remember that when these classroom courses, I remember I always picture them as follows, over short period, limited man hours of attendance, you're expected we're talking about how much? 375 slides, lots of material. You cannot really expect to digest all these and learn them by heart. But you will understand them, and maybe after the course finishes by 1 week, you still remember maybe 80% if you were a keen learner. But after 1 month or 2 months, this will come down to maybe 20%. So we suggest to keep the manual for future reference whenever you need to. Definitely, you will know which part of the course you will find your information. And still, I'm open for any. I'm glad really many of the attendants of previous courses that I gave come back to me with specific questions on situations that they are facing and asking my guidance, and I give them. And this really I enjoy. This is practical application of the training course, not just taking a certificate that you attended course engineering. Okay. Over the course, this page is acronyms. There's lots of abbreviations that you may see over the text and you may see elsewhere. So this is a description of all these acronyms or abbreviations. Okay. Okay. Now we get into the topic. Business management or project management indeed is the art of handling 4 key business drivers. If you look at the shape at the bottom, you will see scope, quality, cost, schedule, and I think those who study PMP from the PMI, they see only these 3 as the triangle of business drivers. I find it mandatory and essential to add the HSE. It is really overarching, a governing business driver. Just quickly to give you an example, if the planner say, or project manager asks the planner, or you are in delay, I need you to prepare a crash schedule. So no problem, Mr. Project Manager. And he goes and prepare over resources on this activity or that activity. This could be civil construction activity or piping mechanical activities. And the HSE, considering the intensity of the work in the area and the congestion and the probability of trades, riggers, form workers, welders interfering with each other, there is a chance of accidents happening. The HSE would say, no, you are not allowed, Mr. Planner, to overload the area, hoping that this overloading with the resources will produce more progress to catch up the delay. That's not allowed. As long as there is a hazard of accidents, it's not problem. So this is actually a clear situation where HSE is the driver. I don't care about the schedule. I don't care about costs, penalties, whatever. My duty is to ensure the project runs free of accidents. So that's why I insist. And if you see the arrows for the 3 parameters scope, cost, schedule, they go both ways. Mean that each of these can go in or out. HSE cannot move, it's fixed. That's, I mean, cost can increase or decrease. Schedule can happen at a time or delay. Scope, we can delete or defer some scope. Can agree to that. So all these can change upper or lower, more or less, but HSE has no tolerance, zero tolerance, no compromise with HSE. That's the bottom line. So that is the intent of this slide. An integrated team effort over project life cycle from inception, from the very beginning, till decommissioning and abandonment by all involved company functions and PMT through various life cycle management stages aiming to maximize the development economics. That's how we do the business. We involve various parties under the PMT coordination and direction. Any project is governed by 4 business drivers: cost, schedule, quality, and scope, and HSE. Of course, quality and scope, you cannot really compromise quality, but you can provide options. You can ask for concession requests to do this thing in a simple way or something, but still maintaining the minimum quality fit for purpose requirements of the project. But the scope, you can actually compromise and say, we delete this part, can live without it, or we can delay to a later stage before, after the startup. And HSE, as I said, is fixed, there's no compromise. The drivers interact and affect one another. As you all know, assume planners and estimators, if we have a schedule delay, we can recover it by a cost increase. For example, if some imported equipment or material is in delay, the project manager may decide to air freight this material instead of the sea freight. In this case, he will save about 6 weeks in the schedule. So to improve the schedule, he increased the cost. Maybe to use an expensive construction procedures within the scope, it will increase the cost. So that's how to see how these things affect each other. Of course, if you have a chance to relax the schedule, you can reduce the cost. You can optimize the resources used, and so you can reduce the cost. In all, whatever you do, the safety, the HSE requirements has to be kept enforced, kept without compromises. Okay, except for the HSE, all drivers can change, increase or decrease, depending on the specific project business context, depending on where we are on the project and what do we know you need to achieve. Now, the importance of cost management comes from actual statistics done by, most of us maybe know, PricewaterhouseCoopers. This is a famous consultant. They made a survey on 33 projects, and the numbers is panicking. 33 projects suffered cost overruns. Cost overruns ranging from 25% to 100% overrun. So you can see that 6 projects, second bar, 6 projects, only 2 projects went on budget, within budget. But 6 projects increased up to 25% the budget. Another 8 increased ranging from 25 to 50, and so on. By the way, my case was the Kashagan project, where one phase of the project was first estimated to cost $24 billion. And then the whole thing ended up with $36 billion. There is too many factors behind this massive. It's 50% increase. It's 12 billion, also almost 12 billion increase. But there are many reasons behind this this change. But it happens, and it happens with small projects and with big projects as well. So that's why we should focus on cost management and try to be as prudent, as seasoned, as careful as possible. We should make all due diligence to manage the project costs and cost control efforts. What I mean to say, okay, be careful, because I'm sure one of you will ask me, Mr. Instructor, maybe the overrun came from the poor estimate. Yes, maybe the good estimate of the project was 1 billion, and the estimator didn't do the job properly. So he reported to the management that the estimate is 800 million, while in reality, a good estimate say it is 1 billion. So in this case, you are underestimated by 200 million, and you will end up spending 1 billion. And the final report was, okay, you are over budget by 25%, 200 million over the 800 wrong estimate, let's say. So this is definitely, some of these numbers come from this background, that the baseline was not correct. When you're comparing the cost at close out to a wrong estimate, you say cost at close out 1 billion, and the estimate was 800. The 800 is wrong and is giving a misleading message that the project performance was not good, and that's why they finished the project with 25% over budget. So two cases we have. We have either the estimate was good and the project performance or project context and situations caused an overrun, or the estimate was poor and the project performance was good and the closing assessment is wrong, is mistaken, is misled by the wrong estimate. So yeah, so this case, was this a cost engineering failure? Sometimes it's cost engineering failure, cost performance failure, or a misleading message due to underestimated original budget. Number one says, was this a cost engineering failure or a business compromise? Sometimes, for some reasons, the management decide to spend more on the project for their own vision of the project, higher beyond the project management vision. So they say, okay, I don't care, I need to finish on time. There are cases where the projects have higher level vision, maybe ministerial level or government top levels. So the top management are very careful about their reputation and their position. So they say, I want to finish on time, whatever the costs. So the project manager will spend any dollar needed to improve the schedule by 1 day. So these are the situation behind, these are the reasons behind these budget variance. Okay, we said that before. If the scope increase, cost will increase and schedule may delay. Or both the scenarios, cost and schedule. Cost increase and schedule delay. With the schedule delay, cost will increase, or we may decide to defer part of the scope. That's what we said before. Scope quality cannot be compromised in general, but scope can delay some, or we can defer, can delay something to be done at a later stage after the project startup. or beneficial occupancy. Again, said that if we need to reduce the cost, we may plan a scope reduction or to relax the schedule or a combination. One of the things to handle the schedule for cost is maybe decide the market. If you are tied with the cost, you may decide to go to a cheaper market, says, for example, Far East. But this may affect the schedule. As we said, the shipping from Far East is maybe 6 weeks or long by sea. So all these options involve effects on the cost schedule aspects of the project. Okay. In all the above scenarios, HSE requirements should be maintained untouched with no compromise to safety, environment, or health aspects of the project resources. Now, this is a new topic. This is what is on a career path. Where do we stand? I'm careful to see where I am on the business. Business is a big map, and I am on one part of it. So if you talk about project management, the main function is engineering, construction, and project services, and HSE. These are the top key things. There are many other things under this. So project services, which is in red font, is our mother area for estimators. And this is how we see it here. Okay, project services is the mother for all these 5 sons. One of the sons is cost engineering, then supply chain, procurement and contracting, planning and scheduling, performance management, information management, simply control and lessons learned and so on. So now we understand where we are on cost engineering. We are under the umbrella of project services. Project services, sometimes called project controls. In fact, historically, it started as project controls. And when many companies found that adding the supply chain, which is procurement, to it, it was expanded to say project services. So, and I'm wondering why not all the companies follow this, because it adds a lot to supply chain to be under project services, because supply chain is a key driver to project cost and schedule. They need guidance on when to do this purchase order or when to do this contract. And how about the cost? Are we limited to tender and lowest price, or are we free to direct negotiate, whatever the cost is? All this information comes from project services. So the drivers on supply chain comes from project services. And the problems from the supply chain is managed by project services. If you have a schedule delay, it's managed by project services, by planning. If you go over cost on supply chain, on purchase order contracts, it's managed by cost engineering. So it's closely related to project service, this supply chain. Many companies, you know, there are no power centers that will never accept supply chain to report to project services. They always want to report to the top people or whatever. Yeah. But I find it logical that supply chain is an essential part of project services and cost engineering as well. So cost engineering reports to project services, and project services is part of the project management. So in this case, some of you may say, okay, I am here just a fresh start cost estimator. Where is my career? Okay, after some time, I can go as a project services manager. And after that, I will go as a project management. and after that, I'll go to Sky with the management. So this is where the cost engineering in the project management. Okay. As project services function, cost estimation exchanges lots of information with other project services function. As we said shortly ago, communication is the magic tool for the estimator. Every day you will be talking to someone, even within his group of project services. You'll be talking to planners, you're talking to contract administrator, whatever. So he will be talking to planners and schedule for variations and claims. He will be talking to risk management staff for contingency estimate and the costs of risk mitigation. And he will be talking to value engineering for options generation and cost reduction. And by the way, we'll come to this. It's a very important aspect of cost engineering is providing options or estimates for various options and providing a ranking for various options so that the decision maker can see it clear what is the best option and what is the decision to take. So this is based on the valuable cost information given by the cost estimate. Management of change. Many people in the project who are outside the project controls like to make changes. Engineers would like to have a much better Helix design, and construction people would like to do it in a different way. But all these changes will be proposed, but will be judged by the management of change. The management of change simply assess and decide what is the cost impact, what is the schedule impact, and what is the quality impact. So answering these questions, the proposed change may be accepted, may be seen to add value to the project, or may be totally rejected, forget it. We will live with the original schedule, with the original project targets and project objectives. Some changes can improve the schedule, some can reduce the cost, and whatever the assessment will go within the project services, and the estimator is requested to know what is the story and what is the cost impact. So in brief again, the estimator will be talking to lots of people within the project services. Communication is the magic essential tool. Okay. Cost engineering function is run over the life cycle of the asset. Life cycle phases you can see here, planning and feasibility. The planning and feasibility mainly is on the owner side. By the way, I'm guessing that most of us in this lecture coming from the contracting side, but as a whole business, I mean, some phases are beyond contractor vision at all. The planning and feasibility is done inside the owners. If I'm an investor or an oil and gas operator want to develop his business, he may have proposals to do this 5-star hotel, to do a power station, to build up a refinery or something. All of this happen every day. To build a sewage or water treatment plant. Then, once a feasibility is granted, appears there, then the owner moves into the next stage, which is defining and designing the facility, and then further to procuring and supplying the project equipment, installing and start up, and then operating and maintain. This is the whole life cycle. Contractor actually ends up in step 4. Contracts actually may be involved in stages 2, 3, and 4. Design, procure, supply, install, and start up. Stage 1 is with the owner. And then after startup, we move back to the owner. The facility is moved to the operation staff. So operate and maintains, and this can take 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, take long period actually. And then during this stage, the facility will need to make from time to time some revamping, some rehabilitation and upgrades to the facility. And then at a certain time, the facility is aged enough and cannot really be kept in service anymore. So this is where we decommission and abandon the facility. We actually demolish and remove the facility according to environmental and laws, government laws on this thing. So this is the life cycle, and this is where we expect that estimation will be involved in all these things. Even in the feasibility, there will be very preliminary, simple cost estimates to support the feasibility decision. On the defined design, there will be more information and there will be more estimating exercises, more accuracy on the estimate that we submit. And then we go into detail on procuring, bidding, evaluation, awarding, and supplying the project material. Procuring actually applies to supply of goods or equipment and the contract services as well. When we place all the orders and award all the contracts, we proceed with installation of the equipment and construction of the facilities until we start up. So this is the what is written there. A key cost engineering task is to estimate the overall cost of the whole asset life cycle. This is required for at early stages of investment evaluation. Yeah, this is stage number 1 for a go, no-go decision. As to say the feasibility, the whole team, owner team, will gather the cost planning and economics of the project and submit a recommendation for the management to decide go or no go. To make high-level comparison of development scenarios from various aspects. That's the scenarios generator and ranking of the scenarios. Actually, during each stage, there will be, we as engineers, you learn to solve a problem in more than one. All our professors were expecting that we can solve the problem by more than one issue, or more than one scenario, let's say. So in this case, if there are 3 or 4 scenarios, we need to choose what is the best. And this is the exercise or the art of ranking various options on a combination of economics, cost, schedule, technical, safety and environmental. There is a lot of criteria for ranking. And maybe many of you know this scorecard system, that each aspect of the ranking is given a weight, and each option, each scenario is given a score on that weight. So we add up the total score of each scenario, and it's clear that the ranking will be the highest score. So this is the role of cost engineering in the life cycle management. It's the same life cycle, starting from up, define, scope, design, specs, design, procure, install, start up, operate. This is what we said before. So far, my colleagues, my cost champions, is clear right now? My English is okay for our Arabic colleagues? I need to have your feedback. Okay, what's on the chat? Okay, yes, yes. Okay, yes. Okay, okay. So in general, I want to make sure that while I'm going, we are going together. I'm not going on my own. I'm not going alone. I'm going with you, my team. Okay, good. So far. Anyone has any concern, any need on the way we are handling? I mean, I want to make sure that okay is a group, just one. Thank you once. Thank you very much. This is Noura Nabil. Thank you very much. Rihan, yes, okay. Thank you. But if it is possible, I prefer to be in Arabic. No, it's not. It will not be in Arabic. Yeah, I get it in the beginning. I want you to stop me for any specific thing, or maybe during the break, what you did not require from the English. I'm keen actually to make you grasp, but it's a chance for you to promote your English. And the other thing, we cannot damage the interests of other people. Thank you, but if it's possible, I prefer to be in Arabic. Presentation, can we get the, yes, you will definitely get the presentation. I prefer to enter the meeting with a pre-read. Okay, the language, okay. Can we have 10 minutes break? I like that. We agreed on that. My colleague, the language, very important thing. I personally have a problem with the language, which is I'm an Arabic. I'm talking to many Arabic-speaking colleagues, and we're talking in English. It's actually the business context that we have. Many of our colleagues actually here are non-speaking colleagues. So if I speak in Arabic, we'll have a problem. My problem is not this course. My problem with other courses were all the attendees were Arabic, and I had to present in English with some translation. Let me tell you a nice story. If you remember, if you know Abuna Al-Asma'i, I hope that many of you can know who is Al-Asma'i. مين الأصمعي؟ الأصمعي شيخ اللغة العربية. له مقولة شهيرة دايما بستحضرها في المناسبات دي، بيقول لك انه ثلاث تشتبه في خبثهن حتى يتبين لك. مين الثلاثة دول؟ الثلاثة دول رجل يتكلم في مجلس ورائحة الخمر تقطر من فمه، فده تشتبه في خبث. ورجل عربي يكلم رجلا عربيا في بغداد باللغة الفارسية. هو ده اللي احنا بنعمله. بس احنا الحقيقة يعني عندنا احتياج وعندنا دافع يبرره يعني. لكن انا الحقيقة يعني طبعا الصناعة انجليزي، واحنا مضطرين احنا we mix with international teams, especially in mega projects, especially in large projects with consultants. So that's why we are really forced to handle some of the business in English. بعتذر اعتذار شديد جدا للزملاء، لكن ارجو ان هم ياخدوها فرصه. ان هو اصل للاسف الشديد انت لو هتعمل كارير وهتروح في شركه كبيره غالبا هتحتاج للانجليزي يعني. So okay, let's go for a break of 10 minutes to pray المغرب, and we'll come back. It's a very interesting point to stop at. Okay, break. So now
انا وقفت الشير يا باشمهندس فوزي عشان حضرتك هتطلع بريك.
طيب ماشي، احنا قدامنا 10 دقائق، احنا ونص دلوقتي، يا دوبك نلحق المغرب. ماشي، يلا.
تحب نبدأ يا باشمهندس؟
انا كاتب اهو مسج على ال
طيب خلاص.
let us resume. اوكي اوكي طيب هنبدأ. Okay, we are back. أنا شايف I can see only 38 participants. Some may, okay. I want, okay, we are at slide 31. I want to give some fun and go to slide 316. You will see now soon. We'll just we'll clarify many points. Okay, 316. 316. Hello, everybody. Okay. This was a discussion workshop about a cost estimate. An infrastructure mega investor want to construct a road between two cities. This starting point and this, and this end point. So there are three options, three scenarios, three routes. Route 1 goes through land, bare land, and then through a forest, green, and then crosses a navigational channel, and then bare land, and then the end. That's route 1. Route 2 goes through a mountain, so definitely he will be building a tunnel here, and then going through a lake, so he will be building some piles, columns, and then concrete or structural bridge on top, crossing the same canal, and then going through a forest, and then bare land. Option 3, he is going outside the mountain, bare land, in the lake, shallow, this is shallow part of the lake, this is deep, and then crossing the navigational channel, this one, blue, and then bare route. So many of us now say, how can we do this complex exercise? You're asking us to estimate tunnels, suspension bridges, crossover over lakes, heavy piles, columns, and then construction, and then on the green, on the forest, there will be some deforestation, and then the normal road. So I say in the beginning, an estimator is an estimator. He can go through any exercise. He has the concepts and tools to apply. And to start with, he will be asking, he will be sitting, filling maybe 2 or 3 pages of questions about these special exercises, about tunnels, about running piles in water, about crossing with a suspension bridge, a navigational canal, and deforestation. All these things he will be asking questions. And then he will be using his communication, sharp communications, ask people, ask the project manager, ask the construction manager, maybe hold a clarification with a specialized contractor, clarification meeting with specialized contractors. We will be trying to answer all these things. And we will be compiling 3 estimates, Route 1, Route 2, and Route 3. And let us take that Route 1, 2 billion, and Route 1 is 1,000 kilometers. Route 2 is 1.5 billion, and it is 150 kilometers. And Route 3 is 1.3 billion, and it is 2,000 kilometers. That's the brief. So this is what we call a screening or optioneering. We have 3 options, and we are applying our engineering to say which is the best. Can some of you guess what could be the best option and why? Okay. Okay. CapEx wise, you can say option 3, Route 3, the cheapest, 1.3 billion. But the owner decides not to take option 3. He will take option 2, which is more costly. And the reason is, my colleague, is the operating and maintenance phase of the road. This road is supposed to serve maybe for 50 years. So considering that the road will be serving users and users who will decide to take this route or take other options. This may be passenger roads or maybe truck moving cargoes and so on. So the owner is keen to make the road as appealing as possible. And this could be only if it is shorter. There are other options, not the only road between the 2 states. There are other routes, other roads, land roads. There are air cargoes. There may be other options to move from start to the end points. So the owner wants to attract the people, and that's why the shorter road for him is a good attraction. That's one. And the maintenance cost of that option is assumed to be less. So the decision, if we said about life cycle cost management, will be based on 50 years of operation and maintenance, and 50 years of users going on the road and paying tolling fees. So there is revenue over 50 years and there is maintenance cost over 50 years. So the maximum use, maximum feasibility or suitability to the users is one factor, and the maintenance cost is another factor, deciding the whole life cycle cost. So this is how the estimation assists the top management vision and decision on big options, not just to the capital investment, which is big money in our case, but to the life cycle investment. Now we go back to any questions here or any discussions here? Okay, we go back to slide 31 where we stopped. Very slow in moving, maneuvering. But anyway, I hope I added something. 31. We stopped here. This is a key slide. Fundamentals of cost engineering. These are the topics. أساسيات cost engineering. Importance of cost estimation, data gathering, and the information source. We just clarified data gathering. We'll be talking to many people, many colleagues in the company, in the project management team, outside parties. We'll be talking to contractors, discussing what could be the rates for tunnel driving, for piling in water, and so on. So data gathering is very fundamental to the quality of the estimate. The more data and the more accurate data we get, the better and higher quality and the better accuracy of the estimate. Information sources. We said internal or external, whatever. But it's very important that the estimator know which information he needs. And that's why he will write down a 2-page list of questions and signing where I go with this, where I go with this question to get feedback to complete his data gathering. Because we said actually he needs some knowledge, which is data, and then apply his concepts and tools. Good cost engineering practices, which is actually merging the data with this is the engineering practice. And one of the key things actually is what we call attention to details. Sometimes minor things can be have a big effect on the ultimate result, on ultimate product. We see this on detail later on. Fundamental cost estimation skills. Yes, the cost estimation skills actually basically it's, as we said, tools and concepts, information gathering, merging the two into the estimate with some attention to details. We need strong communication skills, and for sure we need quality skills about the softwares, about the Excel, and some of us, maybe senior estimators, will have some skills on the quantitative risk assessment software like the PERT Master, so that they run or participate in the contingency assessment. Part of the estimate is the contingency, how much we need to cover the risks of the project. Is it 10%, 15%, whatever? This is what we get through running a quantitative risk assessment workshop. If the information we have is enough to do, maybe at the earlier stages, not the information, not all the information available. So most people actually give it a percentage like that, say 15%. This is in the conceptual or screening stage. Cost engineering career path, where I'll be going if I start as cost engineering now, and then maybe where I'll be in 10 years' time. Indeed, I'd like to say that many people, especially technical people, are quite happy to stay with the specifications and design data. طيب، في زميل بيقول لو في حد عربي، لا هو فعلا الشرط ده اللي انت قلته، يعني هو في مكانه، في ناس نون عربيك سبيكينج، وانا قلت كده. يعني احنا نبهنا في الاعلان عن الكورس ان هو بي انجلش، لان كان في ريكوايرمنت في السوق، ناس كتير عايزينه بالانجليزي، ناس نون عربيك سبيكينج وناس عربي لكن شغالين مع شركات اجنبيه، الانجليزي هي اللغه السائده. ف عشان كده احنا we are bound to use English skills. As I said, I would like to clarify things from time to time, but that actually will delineate the effort, delineate the tone, and may extend the path. But outside the lecture, I'm available actually after that for any clarification. Well, you will get this material and you can go over and ask questions. I'm sure that not all of these English texts are unknown, but maybe some specific. Yes, you're right, there are terms that really need to be understood to follow the text. But we are sorry that we have to stick to the English as the course language. Various cost estimates and their order of importance. The cost estimates vary very largely. For example, one cost estimate is the project manager tells you, okay, we received a variation request from the owner to add a concrete slab, 15 centimeter thickness with 1 layer wire mesh reinforcement on this area. And I want you to give me the cost impact. We know that any variation has 3 things: the scope, what are going to do, the cost impact, how much it will cost, and the schedule impact. Will it affect the end completion date, or will it affect a certain milestone date? These things. So you are the cost engineer and the project manager tell you, give me a figure to put in the cost estimate and be prepared to negotiate it. So this exercise is very simple. You simply go to the bill of quantities of the project, the unit rates, say 100 square meter, unit rate is this, rebar, and then before that you need to consider leveling and compacting area under the slab. So you have maybe 3 or 4 line items. Or if the client want to paint this with epoxy paint for special service requirements, you add 1 line for painting with epoxy. So the quantities are clearly known and the unit rates are there. Maybe for the concrete, you have to consider, and this is attention to detail, as I said. This area is blocked from various things, so I cannot approach with the truck mixer. So I have to use the pump. This you will add on top of the rates. The contract rates assume concrete poured by tractor. Now this will not be, so you'll add the cost of one concrete pump working maybe for 4 hours or so. So this is very simple estimate. It can take you maximum 1 man-hour, and it will be half page or 1 page maximum. That's one estimate. But the example that we've just seen, this road estimate, definitely will take you weeks and weeks. It can cost you 2,000 man-hours to prepare the estimate. And the estimate will go not on 1 page, may go on 200 pages. And if I go through, I'll show you a refinery where the estimate can take maybe 3,000 man-hours and will take 3 months to make. Lots and lots of information input from various internal and external sources. The information itself is too much to gather, and then the build up of the you will have unit rates available. You'll go to vendors and contractors quoting market prices and so on. So the estimate can go on 300 pages. This is an estimate, and this is an estimate. The estimator will be ranging from simple, straightforward jobs to high level, more detailed, laborious jobs. So that's why various cost estimates and their order of importance. About the importance, definitely the example that we gave for a change order request, the estimate is very important because it is a commitment. You will do the job at whatever figure you say. If you underestimate, your company will lose. If you overestimate, you will lose the confidence of the owner about the quality of your work, and you will be blamed and criticized. So it's very important, although it's very simple, but it's very important. How about an estimate that is used by the owner to decide to build a road for 2 billion? Is important or very important? Definitely is very important. This is a big decision. So this estimate should be a definitive estimate, quality estimate with an accuracy, say, plus or minus 10-15%. 10-15% is very important. The same if you are tasked to do an estimate to build a power station or a refinery. It's very important because, again, this involves an investment decision by the owners, shareholders, to spend a big money, say 3 million or 3 billion or 4 billion. So the importance depends on the decision to be based on your estimate. How about if the estimate is feasibility to consider, yeah, looks not bad idea, let's proceed. What is the decision? The decision is to go spend some engineering costs, which could be 10 million, 20, 50 million or so. So it's not a big decision. So the importance is less than the one for committing the actual project. So the importance depends again on the decision to be based, that we are using the estimate to take the decision. So we have various estimates. Each estimate is characterized by the input data and the accuracy, and the decision, of course, used for it. That decision that to be taken based on that estimate. So the more information you have, the larger the estimate effort and the better the accuracy and the bigger decision to be taken. As I said, the definitive estimate is used to take firm investment decision to spend billions of dollars these days to build a refinery or build a road, as we have seen. So we will be seeing these various cost estimates, how to develop them, and what will be the accuracies. Yeah. Situation that need cost engineering support. Over the business, there are many situations that need cost engineering. Most common to all of us is the bid preparation, the bid pricing. Bid pricing is one occasion where we need strong cost engineering support. On value engineering, I will talk to value engineering. Value engineering is a project exercise where there are some proposal to reduce the costs and maybe spend marginal expenses to achieve that thing, or maybe not spend anything, just revising some engineering design. And again, in this value engineering, there will be 2 or 3 scenarios, and cost engineering is highly requested to provide estimates for the various things. Schedule delay. We have a schedule delay, and we are subject to a delay penalty of, say, 2.5%. It's a big money for $2 billion. And the project manager asked the estimator, help me to make a decision. Shall I accept, don't do anything, don't do any catch-up schedule or fast-track schedule and take this penalty? Or you have some ideas to fast-track the schedule at some additional cost? So you will consider the following options. Okay, the remaining bids on the project will be commercially evaluated on schedule, not cost. I mean, we will be taking the fastest delivery of the equipment as to improve the schedule. The differences normally between number one is very marginal on the cost, but the delivery can be much to support our case of schedule recovery. So this is one option. Another option is maybe to change the markets. Now, this was an interruption from my colleague Mohammed Hussein. I'm on the full swing, and he wants to say, would you like to open discussions? I'm interested to continue at least this slide. Okay. So coming back to the task where cost engineering is highly requested to support. And then you will tell him, okay, we used to buy from Far East, cheap markets, but we will buy from Europe because the shipping time is 4 or 5 weeks difference. So this supports the schedule. The prices may be marginally high, but we agreed that we will pay some more money to avoid the delay penalty, which is a big money. One option is some commodities critical to the schedule have been sea freighted. We consider air freight. There is a cost difference. But all these options, you will add up the additional costs based on your proposal ideas and compare this to the delay penalty. So it may be really that we have a good chance to avoid the delay penalty. The delay penalty, we all know, is not just money, it's reputation. The company, the contractor, and the owner as well suffer reputation damage when the project delays. And if that project is a highly strategic project for the country, there will be some massacre on the management. So these are examples of cost situations that need cost engineering support. In general, it helps making decisions. Indeed, coming back to the bid estimate, it's very important that the quality of the estimate and the accuracy decides, do we get the bid at profitable margin or do we lose the bid? The management may have a vision, say, I want this job at cost. Okay. This was answered. So bid preparation, variation orders, fast track schedule, recovery exercises, value engineering options. These are key areas where strong seasoned cost estimators are required to give their input to the decision. Okay, remember the basics. The basics is cost estimation is a top-down process. Cost control is a bottom-up. I mean, cost control will collect the actual expenses in cents and dollars to build up the total actual. But cost estimation is a top-down. We come down with the work breakdown structure to a reasonable level of details and start building up the pieces, various pieces of the estimate, equipment, engineering, equipment and material, construction, and so on. So this was the fundamental cost engineering. Now, fundamentals of cost engineering. Again, cost engineering covers many functions. The following two are the top key functions: cost estimation and cost control. I would like to say cost control is always misconceived, always misinterpreted, misunderstood. Used to be cost control is people collecting actual costs and comparing the actual cost to the original and say we have a variance, we are over budget or overspending. That's not cost control. Indeed, cost control means cost influencing, means cost reduction, bringing the overspending to stay within. That's the ultimate of cost control. What most people actually understand is just cost monitoring. I'm just monitoring the catastrophe, the project is running overspending, and we're not doing anything. We're just waiting until the end to say we are 10% over budget. That's not control. Control is steering, is influencing. I will not use the word control. So it's steering and influencing. You will have to put some ideas and proposals to reduce the overall cost. Some areas will have to go higher, some areas can go lower. And that's the art of cost control function. Ultimately, it is cost influencing. We are shaping the final estimate. Both functions complement each other as follows. Estimation provides the baseline to finance the project execution, provide funds for the project execution, 2 billion, say. Control helps find out the good and bad things in the estimate and provide future learning for improved estimation. Actually, as we said in the beginning, that the final project assessment that is overrun may be due to bad estimate. So cost estimation key role is to really identify if that item over budget was due to actual situation or bad performance of the project, or was the baseline itself was not good, was not real, was under. So this is one of the and this is actually is one of the lessons learned to be recorded. That when we estimated this item, we did this, and there was an error in this assumption that we made, that we should in future correct it to avoid underestimation. Underestimation is a very serious catastrophe. You know why? I tell you why. Because, as I said, the management decision is based on the estimate. The economics is based on the estimate. So if it is underestimate, it can look more feasible than it is real. So the people say, this is a magnificent project, let's proceed. And then ultimately, when you start execution, you'll find out that the estimate was under by 20%. And the real figure, the correct figure, if you pass it through the economics will say it's not economical, it's not viable, it's not profitable. And the funding arrangement suffer a problem. If you ask the manager to fund, say, 800 million, it's different from asking to fund 1 billion. It's not easy. So underestimation, it has very, very bad results on the management decisions and the business performance in general. The whole cost engineering life cycle depends on data gathering from the proper sources, applying good cost engineering practices, providing fundamental cost estimate skills, staff development for project control career path, improving cost estimation and cost control practices, providing cost management support as needed. So I hope that we are adding some to our cost engineering concepts. Importance of cost estimation. Cost estimation is important for business decisions. We've said that before, such as make a firm investment decision. As I said, just the previous slide. We get the estimate figure, we run through economics, we check the funding arrangement, everything is fine. Let us proceed. Let us commit or sanction the project. Sanction means kill the project, or not actually kill the project, kill the owner, kill the shareholders. When you say spend this, I promise you will improve your business. We hope that your advice is real and correct. So you're telling the management, go and pay the money, pay 2 billion for the project. Screen and rank various proposed development scenarios. That's why during the conceptual or scenario generation, you check the estimates of various options, and then you run the economics and the cost and all the ranking elements, and then you guide the decision to go to such as there are details on slides 58 that will follow. Assess the feasibility of a prospect asset development. That's the feasibility. That's early stage actually. Justify a potential project change. Yeah. If the overall, if I say I want to recover the schedule and avoid the delay, this is a project change, and that implies some additional cost expenses. So there are other cases actually where some project changes can involve some additional costs, but in total involve maybe operability improvement, maybe improve the life cycle. As I say, on the 3 routes option, you can choose more expensive development cost, but the operating the maintenance and the revenue of the road, the number of users on the road will increase. So these are the changes that are supported by cost engineering. Benchmark EPC contractors bid proposals and subsequent change proposal. For an owner, an owner estimated during the bid you receive 3 bids, maybe 3 technically accepted bids for the EPC contract. Then you actually want to see the quality of each one, so you compare the 3 bids, and then you will have your own input, which look reasonable. And then you will do this on many line items to check the quality of the estimate. And the intent is to check if the lowest bid is really enough or there is the problem of underestimation. The intent of this 5 exercise is to cross-check and confirm that the cheapest bid, you go through random checks, various lines, check the 3 bidders together. You will definitely find some odd figures in the 3. You mark these odd figures, and then you go down the list. The list, as I said, will be pages and pages of numbers. So you will have a judgment that one of the EPC contractors did not do the exercise properly. And if that happens to be the cheapest price, you will have really a big concern to the management that bidders is underpriced. And this could be one of 2 serious problems. One, which is the least severe problem, is lack of knowledge with that contractor, lack of study. He did not study the tender documents properly. He did not check the quantities or specifications. He did not check the resources required, the mobilization cost, the site condition, blah, 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 all these things. So this badly affected his estimate going to the low side. That's one thing. The worst thing is if the contractor intentionally wants to take the job, whatever, even by loss. That contractor definitely has some financial problems, and he's desperate and very keen to take this job because he's almost running into bankruptcy, and he wants to keep running the business, even if he takes a losing bid. So you should not, as the owner, you should not really be trapped into the lowest bid. The lowest bid in this case is a bomb that you will take by awarding this project to this low bid, because it is unintentional. There are cases really about that. We know cases about that. We will go through this. The lowest bid, if it is substantially low, you as an estimator should know that there is a market price, and you should have developed your own estimate and benchmark the 3 bid estimates to yours. If the estimates are, say, plus 10%, 15%, maybe they are reasonable. But if an estimate is less by 15% than your estimate, then you really suspect. You should suspect, because the market say, for example, bidder number 1 say 1 billion, bidder 2 1,100,000,000, bidder number 3 800. Definitely this is underestimated for some reason. One of the 2 options, one of the 2 possibilities we just mentioned. So going with this off-market range bid, it involves really serious problems to the project execution. Cost benefit analysis, always going for any change, we assess the gains, the benefits, and the costs that we spend to do this change, and assess project economics. Make equipment replacement decision. That's on the operating life of the thing. When you have equipment, start spending more. That's when you decide actually to change, replace your car. If the operating, if the fuel consumption and maintenance costs go higher and higher, you will definitely make a decision to buy a new one with much less operating costs, fuel consumption, and maintenance compared to this old aged. So this is always, there's lots of very skilled estimating expertise. Evaluate asset value from the perspective of LCC, from life cycle engineering aspect. Okay. Cost engineering, data gathering. Now, I would prefer this point to open the door for some questions. Guys, please, any question, any suggestion or proposal for the coming lectures, please. I'm listening. Mustafa Abdu. Ask a question, Mustafa. Who else? That's the name I can see. Mustafa Abdu. No question from Mustafa. Okay. Who else on the participants? Okay. Guys, questions, please. Suggestions, clarifications, technical questions. باشمهندس محمد. باشمهندس محمد حسين. Do you hear me? Am I heard? I'm not muted. Okay. On the chat. So there is nothing actually. There is nothing. There is very bad cripples, unknown words. So okay. Yusuf Suleiman, waiting room. It's too late. Sharif Rabia. Okay. Please help me. Is there a problem with communication? Do you hear me? Someone say yes. Yes, we can hear you. Okay. So this is Ahmed. In this case, Ahmed, do you have any clarification? And Magda? If yes, then please let us run any discussion before we maybe some of you is too tired after a work day, then 2 hours, blah, blah, blah. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you very much. In this case, do you have any inquiry, any question, any discussion, any proposal, suggestion? I said we need to run a dialogue, not a monologue. So far has been a monologue. You asked what? Ibrahim. Ibrahim Ragab. What did you ask? Any questions, colleague? Huh? Okay. I'm listening. I'm waiting for. Soon we'll have to close the meeting. 2 people entered. Guys, the meeting scheduled 6:30. 6:30, tentatively for 2 hours, plus time for questions. Okay. Ahmed Wagih, Ibrahim Ali, Ibrahim, Michelle. Any question, Michelle? Magda Muharram, Muhammad Amr, Ramiz Iskandar. So guys, where are we? Okay. Surprisingly, I did not get tired from speaking, giving examples, but I'm tired of asking questions and no feedback, no response from about 30 participants. To be true with you, it's a bit frustrating. Just one question. Yes. Thank you. Okay. About the cost estimate, have authorities to access info? Cost estimator have authorities to access info. For sure, information like unit rates, like vendor budget quotations, he should have access to this information. I say vendor budget quotation, maybe the invitation to bid prices, there is some restriction, but at certain time, he will have to be given access to participate in the decision about recommending the successful bidder, for sure. As I said before, someone in the team should have a reason to say this is the lowest bid, but this is toxicated bid, we'll have a problem. It is substantially lower than the reasonable range. I gave example of numbers just before. Just to tell you a story about this, a real story. Badruddin Oil Company in Egypt, in the Western Desert, issued a tender for an EPC contract, and 3 bidders quoted: ABB Lamas, Bechtel, and KBR, Kellogg Brown and Root, KBR. The numbers came like that. Lamas bid 250 million, Bechtel 255, and KBR 175. So apparently, all the 3 are professional. Apparently, the market price is something between 250 and 255, very close. But 175 is dramatically below the market price. Unfortunately, the bid committee had to accept the lowest bid. Some time ago, my colleagues, we used to have a rule to disqualify the lowest bid. Disqualify for low price, actually, not the lowest bid. Disqualify for low price. If you assess that this price is under, then you should suspect and you should expect problems behind that thing. Unfortunately, public sector and government managed companies do not have this flexibility. They have to abide by the blind rule, choose the lowest bid. حبيبي تقبل الله. انا بس اقول اسئله، يعني بالكاد في واحد سال سؤال فانا بس اساله بس. خلاص ماشي ده اللي هيحصل بعد ما اخلص السؤال ده. اوكي سلام عليكم. So rest of the story is they had to comply by the government rules and choose the lowest bid, which was KBR 175. KBR, once the commercial was open and knew the other bids 250 and 255 million, knew for sure that they will have got a losing bid, a losing contract. So they started to make stupid decisions how to cut the costs. And one big item in these projects, this is a gas field development, is the equipment, material, and specification. Some part of the plant had to be stainless steel to resist corrosion, but they decided to make it carbon steel. And they started bringing cheap engineers from Romania instead of the expensive bridge engineers, and so on and so on. And the project started suffering severe problem. This is a long story, and there was a dispute that took maybe 2 years to resolve about whose responsibility was this bad design, bad material, blah, blah, blah. And eventually the contractor was seriously blamed and did not end the project on a normal way. So in any case, always avoid the toxicated bids, the toxicated bidders, those who come with substantially low prices. There will be a problem if they are involved. Thank you so much, Mr. Harraz. Thank you, Raz. A very tricky point in bids. Yes, it is really. It needs some wise judgment, someone to say, no, avoid this imminent failure in the project. Don't be trapped by the low price. Somehow we will face a big problem. And this happens for all projects. The contractor, if the project costs 2 million, say 200 million, the contractors cannot do it with 175. In government projects, how to avoid this? I think the acceptable thing is to recommend rebidding. The thing is, if you reject the lowest bid in government project, they will make a big attack, a big backfire on you. I'm the winner and you exclude me. They will go to the highest level and make a big fire on the bid committee. So, but in the invitation to bid, there is instructions that the owner is free to cancel the bid without any justification. The safest way in this case is to rebidding for this thing. That's to escape away from this lowest bid. Lowest bid, highest bid, either, as you said, ignorance, lack of knowledge, lack of study, or intentional will just to take the bid to hide financial problems inside this contract. So this is how to handle it with government, is to cancel the bid and rebid. Whether you have the luxury of the time, because some projects really on the business plan of the owner have a deadline. If it is a new product and they want to catch the market, they might be, if they have commitment to the government or to the society, to start providing power or oil imports or whatever. Remember that the bidding and awarding cycle takes normally 3 months on the best, maybe 4. So 4 months on the business plan is not something that you can ignore. So this is the thing about the need to rebid. So I thank you very much for your participation. I hope next time there will be more participation. I'm really concerned about lack of questions. And
الو
اتفضل.
ازي حضرتك يا فندم. I'm sorry if I have to speak in English I will do. It's just now unmuted our mic. Okay, many times we try to unmute. This was the problem.
It's not me who muted you. I'm sorry, it's not me.
Yeah. I'm talking on behalf of all the participants. I think many people try to unmute and I ask directly. Okay, I have a question, sir.
Please.
We have a problem here in the market. Okay, about the cost estimate rule and the procurement and the purchase and the tendering.
Yeah.
Okay, most of the time we mix between purchase departments, the procurement departments, okay, and the tendering part of the contract departments. Okay, especially when it comes to APC contract, where it is not easy. It's not easy to even to prepare in-house cost estimate, and we rely mostly on the APC giants proposals. You mentioned some of them, like Bechtel. Okay, we remember Foster Wheeler and the others. Foster Wheeler and ABB and this Siemens and these people. They are all APC contractors. Okay, so it is not possible in a governmental project to prepare a tight and neat cost estimate in-house in the same company or same department or even ministry. So would it be more advisable to rely on cost estimate experts and outsource it to consultants?
If the project is here in Egypt, you assume?
Let's say so, yes.
If it is in Egypt, use an Egyptian estimator. The experts do not know the Egyptian market as you. They will really make assumptions. We have seen this on estimates made by Snam Progetti and Bechtel for projects in Egypt. There was lots of lack of knowledge and they make assumptions and they apply their norms and rates to the case here, and because easily you could easily challenge and invalidate their figures. The thing is, as you mentioned, there is a split between purchasing, which is procurement, and contracting. In the beginning, if you remember, I said the ideal situation is that project services are the mother of supply chain, and supply chain is procurement and contracting. Again, these key functions, estimating and bidding and all these things, should receive utmost top management concern. They should organize the company and the department's relations and roles to support this. What you say is normal in this environment where purchasing have their own figures and information and contracting have their own sources, and estimator is struggling to go through and no. You are not purchasing and you are not contracting. So how can he cannot, of course, make this. But the best is he can do is make budget quotation. budget quotation. I think you are
Great.
free. Anyone in the company is free to approach an equipment supplier, a material supplier, or any contractor for any unit rates, costs based on preliminary information, and they will give you budget quotations, which are normally, he'll say, accuracy plus or minus 15%. This is the best you can get. But this estimate is not in fact, you should have full access. In this case, if it's not the cost estimation who decides if the bid figures are healthy, are reasonable, are market-based, or what. So suppose, I mentioned the case of tendering. If you, as an estimating function, estimated the project for 1 billion, and then you received estimates of 1,500,000,000, 1,700,000,000, and the like. What do you think? Now you are muted again.
My estimate is not accurate enough.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your estimate, you have checked, and your estimate is reasonable and accurate. You know what's happening?
Yeah.
There is bid cartelling. The bidders colluded, تواطؤوا مع بعض. They talk to each other and say, we will offer, you will offer 1,500 million, I will offer 1,700 million, and the third will offer 18 million and $18 million. So the case, if your estimate is 1 billion, you can expect quotations to come 1,100,000,000, 1,200,000,000, something like that, which is 25% accuracy. Okay, your estimate is bad, is inaccurate within this 25%, but it cannot be inaccurate to 50%. You are an estimator. You cannot make such a big gap. In this case, you can, in confidence, go to the management and say, there is bid cartelling. The bidders colluded on the company. في تواطؤ ضد الشركة. In this case, the only approach to this is cancel the bid. Cancel the bid. You know that these are not real market bids. They are cartelled, rigged bids. في corruption في التندر وده بتحصل. This happens.
It happens.
It happens. And they know internally, when they do this, they know that internally the company is in a hurry to place the orders. So it will be a big challenge to spend $500,000 more, spend 50% more on this project by these cartelled prices, or recommend a rebid. This is a management decision. But for sure, I mean, your estimate can be inaccurate within 200 million in 1 billion. That's 20%. Understand? Yeah. 20%. It's a big range. You cannot, your exercise cannot be as bad as 20%. If you miss many items and so on. So that's the importance of your own internal estimate, is to give you a guide on the bid prices. If the bid prices are really reasonable, and the difference is due to accuracy on my internal home estimate, or there's something. And the worst would be if your estimate is 1 billion and you receive a bid for 750 million. Definitely, this is a toxicated bid. This is a big problem. Response, Ibrahim, did I answer your question?
More than enough, sir. Thank you very much. I asked this question because I have such
same situation.
Same situation, and actually with the World Bank. Imagine with the World Bank itself. Okay, and it was a governmental project in outside the country, not in Egypt. And we were the consultant then, and they did not take our recommendation cancel the bid, yes, and they insist to take the Chinese contractors, which was less than 30%.
30%.
Than the lowest. Yeah, and then we jumped into the project management process, and it was a disaster actually. It's still going.
Really, so this is what we say here as a concept.
Yeah.
It works. So there was a problem with the project. Yeah.
Yes.
For sure, the contractor has 10 bad intentions to use the wrong specifications or wrong material or whatever thing. And I think in this case, you cannot be blamed if you suspect collusion between the contractor and the owner. Yes?
Yeah, there are political games always there in this high-level projects. Yeah.
Okay, in this case, maybe there is agreement, unwritten agreement that the owner will give variation orders, 40% of the project as variation orders with reasonable cost amounts. So there is some collusion. I mean, the contractor does not accept a losing bid. He definitely has a plan how to make this low bid a profitable job for him. Thank you for your case. Yeah, I can imagine what you would say.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any question, my colleagues? There is a question, say, I think he makes it between purchasing and procurement. No. Purchasing and procurement are the same. Just purchasing is a simple procurement, but procurement in general includes purchasing, and it is purchasing in general. But the supply chain is procurement plus contracting. Procurement is supply of goods and material and equipment, and contracting is producing of services. So Ahmed entered the waiting room. Please note that the lecture starts at 6:30 p.m. Cairo time. Let's be on time next Wednesday, same time, inshallah. Maybe we have to cross-check the winter time for this. That should be maybe, I don't know. Would it be 5:30 or 7:30? I'm not sure. We'll check the advice. The screen will actually announce to the whole group what is the time, local time, considering the Gulf and Middle East time zone, actually. We try actually to give the attendees some time to break from their work day, and at the same time ensure that we finish early enough to give them some sleep time for the next day. Okay, my colleague, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Any more questions? Everyone is unmuted now. Everyone can speak.
Excuse me, Mr. Fawzi. Can
Please,
just have it? Yeah, okay. In case of the company choose cheaper bidder, and they are giving the instruction to the design team and supervision team to check everything and focusing for the requirement in the specification, code, standard.
Yeah.
During the supervision. So,
yeah.
Or during all the phases, it can be help to get the good quality, or
you will get with this provision. You said there is instruction that the project management team exercise due diligence in checking the specification, the construction procedure, the material, and everything. Yes, you will get quality, but the contractor will not complete the project. He will not complete the project. At certain time, if he is substantially below than the benchmark price for the bid, that is your estimate. You are the owner or the consultant. You have your estimate. if the bid is substantially lower than the benchmark estimate, which is yours, he will not complete. If the bid estimate is 90% or 80% of your benchmark estimate, he can go. He can finish the job with marginal or no profit, but he can go. But if it is 30%, definitely it's a losing job, and he will not complete the job. He will start actually considering the black scenarios of requesting for changes or unable to continue or anything. So in this case, the project management team and the project controls actually should be clearly considering at an early stage the scenarios of suspension or termination. Correct?
Yeah, yes. Thank you so much.
At certain time, you will be assured that he will not continue. So the earlier the earlier the better. You investigate and develop a termination, suspension, and termination scenario. You will regularly notify the contractor that he is behind schedule, that he is not responding to owner notifications. These things will go regularly, and he will not be responding. So at the end of repeated notification from the owner or consultant to the contractor to improve this, catch up this, do this, and he's not doing, then you say in default, contractor is in default, and we'll go to the contract clause for suspension or termination by default. In this case, you will hold all the contractor on-site equipment, you will hold the performance bond from the bank, and then you will have to invite the next bidder on the bid process. You'll have to consider him, maybe starting confidentially from the beginning, discussing the scenarios, how much he will ask for the remaining work to complete, and you will complete the scenario and then make it back to back. You end this one, and then you get the next bidder on site to complete. This is a disruption to the project execution, but Allah ghalib, ma bilyad hila. But this contractor, this using will not continue the project based on your project requirements, specifications, quality, blah, blah, blah. He will not. He cannot spend from his pocket. So in this case, the mandatory option is terminate him and bring the second bidder to lose. Maybe the second bidder will cost, if the remaining part costs you say 500 million, maybe the next bidder will say, I need 600 million. You can actually apply the clause to take this additional cost from the performance bond. And that should be clear on the working of the scenarios of the suspension and termination clause. Someone from contracts is with us? Anyone from the contracting group? From the consultant side? Am I giving good suggestion?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So the main important to choose the good bidder, not only for the price, but as you said, the price should be reasonable.
Reasonable should be benchmark, should be market price, not lower.
Yes.
Should be your internal benchmark.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much.
No, just 2 minutes. I give you a case. I was working in Petrojet, and our client was Exxon, and they asked us for a change proposal, and I worked at the schedule impact, cost impact, blah blah blah. So the cost impact, first time of this first change, I said 250,000 was a big figure on 1985. Actually, I'm quite old. So I said, no, my estimate is quite good. It's reasonable. Said, no, it's overestimated. And then he challenged me about the quantities, the specs, the man hours, the equipment, blah, blah, blah. And at the end, he came up with something like 200,000. I proposed 250. And then he said, okay, are you convinced? We are aligned? Yes, looks okay. So, okay, he said, please reissue the change proposal with the cost impact 200,000. Full stop. Next page. 3 or 4 months later, he asked us to make a change proposal for one job, one variation. So I worked out the exercise and came up with a cost impact $500,000. And you could be surprised. I was surprised when he came back and say, no, this is underestimate. 500 is underestimate. And no, my estimate is perfect. I consider everything. He said, no. Let's see the details. This is how you breakdown of the figure. This is how your specs, your man hours, your equipment used, blah, blah, blah. And going into the details, we worked together some figure like 650. I said 500 and we worked a figure $650,000. $650,000. I said $500,000. Right?
Big difference. Yeah.
Big difference.
Yes.
Big difference. And at the end, he said, are you okay? Even in this case, are you okay? Are you convinced? For me, yes, I'm convinced. And he said, okay, reissue the variation proposal, your variation proposal, and if you write 650, I will approve it. If you write 600, I will approve it. If you write something less, I will not approve it. I'll bring you back to negotiate. He didn't want to award a losing bid, a losing variation. The main contract was 3 million, and this is a margin job. In principle, you as the owner, for your benefit, for your business benefit, you should not award a losing bid as long as you know it's losing. It was not a matter of accuracy. If it was 550 and I offered 500, marginal. But if his estimate is something like 650 compared to 500, this is 33%, almost 30%. So it's a big range. He does not accept. Exxon management principles does not accept to award a losing job. Maybe for what we call ethics, or maybe to avoid failure. If 100,000, sometime I will discover that the job is underpriced and I will not complete it normally. I may cheat with the specifications, I may cut corners, I may do something wrong because I will not pay for my profit as a contractor. So this is a case that taking substantially below market bid price, because it's the lowest bid, you are getting a toxicated contract. No toxicated contract. You will have a problem. Any further questions, my colleagues?
Yes, I have a question.
Please.
Now I have a FedEx Red Book contract. Okay, so
Yeah.
I just priced the BEQ as this is remeasured contract.
Yeah. You have a BEQ and you priced it. Yeah.
Then I found the major item is not included in the BEQ. So what is the action, the correct action that I should do? Include this item in our price, or follow the BEQ that's submitted by the employer?
Sorry, you are consultant or owner?
No, a contractor.
You are the contractor.
Yeah.
You identified a big item not included in the BOQ.
Yes.
And you are asking yourself, shall I advise and flag there is something missing?
Yes, maybe missing, and ممكن تبقى مشكلة، ممكن تبقى مفقودة يعني. أنا مش عارفة الحقيقة فين بصراحة.
لا no. There is another way, putting ethics aside. Ethics you should actually advise the consultant and the owner, there is one big item missing from your POQ. There is one thing, another option is close your eyes and overlook this item, and you give your price of the POQ, which is acceptable, and you win the job. And after that, 2 or 3 months, make a variation proposal.
Variation.
Of
Maybe
course.
maybe the
Mr.
consultant
Client,
will
Mr.
reject this
Client.
very.
Mr. Client, we have this item. Do you intend to do it or not? Say, we need to do it. Yes. Okay. Give me your variation proposal. So this is one way. If you put ethics aside, but if you want to stick to ethics and business conduct, you should highlight it to the consultant and owner and amend the prices. And if you are on the bidding stage, yes, yeah, then I think the consultant and owner will share this with all the other bidders. I say, please amend your commercial quotation with this item, description, quantities, and price. So there are 2 ways to do it. If you share and benefit the consultant and owner to catch their, there is always these mistakes. The BOQ, there is missing item, there is wrong quantities, missing items and wrong quantities, wrong high or wrong low, or wrong low.
Yes.
So if you deal ethically, you need to highlight and share it with the consultant and owner, and they would share with other bidders to align the commercial quotations. If you want to do it the other way, it's up to you.
But I faced that
sure,
most of the contractor not issue this in the clarification, not show this in the clarification. There's no talk about this major item. That's why I'm talking.
No, I think these FEDIC, they have to share any such clarification from any bidder. They share it with others.
Yes, they share the
This
clarification and
okay, they did not catch it. They did not catch it. Yes, you caught this error, and you flagged it. Maybe. And they would share it with others, and we'll say, bidders, please reissue your revised commercial, including this item that Engineer Noura kindly notified us about it. So normally during the bid process, any clarifications or such notifications from a bidder are shared with the other bidders to ensure that the bids at the end are fully aligned regarding the scope, specs, and the price to make the comparison fair. So this is one way. I gave you. I try to be ethical, but sometimes we have the debate. But we can keep it for a good variation order, especially if the unit rates are not in the POQ rates.
No, it's not included.
You are free to give a high unit rate and make it a winning job. Yeah, if it is a big item. He doesn't know, the consultant and owner does not know that you knew this at the bid process. So you just, okay, by the way, when we are reviewing the project documents, Mr. Client, Mr. Consultant, this item is missing. The only thing is to include this is to address a change order, right?
Yes.
Any other? Yeah, thank you very much. Any question, Noura?
No, thank you.
Colleagues, we still have 20 cost champion, project control, project management champions. Question, or shall we close the meeting?
Can you hear me?
I hear you well.
First, I want to thank you. Yes. First, I want to thank you for the amazing webinar. I have just a question regarding when we have low offers. you know, sometimes the cycle for canceling the bid and starting a new one, it's taking around 1 year to 2 years due to the approval of all committees, and
I know.
the cycle is so long. So to
I know.
have to cancel a bid is not easy. To have it as a solution.
It's not
even sometime we in the same bid for 2 years we do feasibility study after we award it, and the whole feasibility changed and the project has no meaning. So is there any other solution other than canceling a bid to avoid like having a noisy contractor or
no, this hassle, yeah. I know this hassle from the contractors, yeah. They escalate the issue to higher levels, yeah.
Right.
You have only two options: cancel the bid and rebid, or accept a crook bid. In any case, if it is a massive cost increase, it's not like a substantially low price. It's just the thing is that you paid more than you should have. In any case, the feasibility of the project has been run using a figure. Say, you as an internal estimator said 1 billion. So the economics of the project and the feasibility use the 1 billion estimate, right? What we have to do before making a recommendation to the manager is, okay, call the economics people who will evaluate the net present value, the payback, the internal rate of return, all these economic criteria, and tell them, please use $1 billion, and these are the quarterly phasing, and run your economics, and tell us what is the IRR, what is the, so normally the IRR is very key decision. The company say, I'm not running a project if the IRR is less than 10%. So if the IRR comes to be 9%, the manager definitely will seriously consider canceling. If it is 10% or 11%, it's still feasible. We know that we are paying much more than the real cost, but it's a feasible project economic-wise. That's it. As you said, Fallon, sometimes really I'm speaking about normal healthy process where the bid committee is normal people, not semi-gods. Some of the bid committees are very important people, you know. You can see them on the TV every 6 months. So the bidding and evaluation can take 1 year or 2 years. Yeah, I know. But
some colleague proposed sometime, I don't know if it's a good idea, to propose to have like a standard deviation, like if the bidder is away like more than 15 or 20% from the standard deviation for the then he's excluded, and this will be well defined in the award criteria before the closure of the
you mean 15% 15% on the low side, lower than the benchmark.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a toxic price, as you said. Yes, for sure.
So maybe this is a solution also.
Whatever, I mean, we have found over the cases, over the practice, that the low bid will not run a healthy project. I mean, that is 15 or 20% less than the benchmark will not complete the project. You will maybe finish 40% or 50% of the project, but then the project will stand still and failure, and that's it. And you will have to run into the suspension and termination scenario. This takes maybe 6 months actually to agree, assess the work, assess the remaining work, and negotiate the number 2 bidder, and agree and mobilize, blah, blah, blah. Takes minimum 6 months. So,
And also, this is a big challenge, and you will lose a lot of time to transfer between contractor and the new contractor, and
big time,
also
it's a big
the
headache.
inflation.
Transfer.
Yes, big headache.
Yeah, it's a big headache. I mean, you actually calculate the remaining material, the remaining work, and blah blah blah.
Right.
It's a big headache for a big project.
And
But
we'll have a lot of
we have-
dispute also.
yes, all the scenarios are agony.
Right.
All the scenarios are agony. If you complete with this contractor, you will not complete. If you suspend or terminate, you will face agony on this scenario. But in any case, I think it's a black scenario. I mean, what can you do? I mean, do you think that the company, the owner, has a process to amend this toxic low price by giving him, say, $1 million as a subsidy? It's not a process. Right. That would be the only recovery, is to say, hey, Mr. Poor Contractor, we help you. We give you this donation, $100 million to complete the project. This is one thing. I mean, all the scenarios are difficult. As I said, the two scenarios are worse than each other. But in any case, I mean, from the beginning, you should exclude this toxic low price. If the problem is a substantial high price, you need to cross-check the economics and pass it to the financial analyst people on the company and tell them, okay, give us your internal rate of return estimates and the NPV, and make your, if it is still feasible, then Allah Ghalib, we will have to accept it. And that's actually more assurance. I mean, it's just the economics may be somehow impacted. But if the contractor is quality, his performance, differences in performance, KPIs are okay, okay. So he's good in everything, except just he took $200 million more. That's it. That's the least loss that the owner can, compared to see the agony of rebidding, compared to the agony of suspension and termination. So this will be the cheapest recovery solution, is to accept a high price, cartel the price, let's say, and go with it. That's it.
And also, most of the time, like when the price is high, this is the scenario where the owner prefer to cancel and to rebid, and he doesn't care about the return. He wants to know why the estimate is wrong from the beginning, and need justification why the price is higher than the estimate. So
it's very clear. Okay, ask the management. Okay, please challenge me. I'm going to present my estimate to you item by item, and you should challenge and check and verify that my estimate is not wrong. It is clear. We know this in the bidding process, the bid cartelling. We know this happens.
Right.
This is part. It's the market. When you see that your estimate is 1 billion, and the market prices came as 1,500, 1,600, and 1,700.
Right.
It's quite clear like sun that there is a collusion and there is bid cartelling.
And most of the time, this estimate and budget are in some way it's revealed to the public market, and the bidders know it. So this is also part of the, like you said,
the problem. No, I think these estimates are internal. Should be internal. This
should be. Yes.
This is classified information that you know, and the economics and financial analysts know. It should be, of course, because information always leak.
Exactly.
I tell you, the fraud in the contract. There was a very interesting course I gave a few weeks ago in Istanbul, prevention of fraud in procurement and contracting. There's lots of stories and lots of tactics behind this, and there is lots of defense as well for these texts. It's very interesting. This is very essential part of the business today is this fraud and bid cartelling and all these things. There's always collusion between bidders and sometimes bidders and employees, bidders and consultants. There is always collusion.
Right.
The low price, there is in many cases, there is a collusion that, okay, take the bid at this low price, and then we will develop variation orders for you that will adjust your profit. In many cases, this is one of the collusion and fraud sources of the thing. But in any case, we have to abide by standard rules. The issue of confidentiality about cost information and cost estimates is quite clear. Very few persons, minimum, should be aware of this, because it leaks. Somehow it leaks to the competitors, it leaks to the market, and that's it.
Yeah.
If you wanted to trap the bidders, you can leak out a wrong estimate.
Actually, sometimes
if your estimate is 1 billion, leak a figure that's 800.
So, sometimes it's without leaking. They know about it based on like the bid bond is usually they know it's percentage of the big amount, so they take it as a percentage, and they figure out the number by themselves. Like
no, we do not specify the bid bond as money. We specify the bid bond as 10% of your quotation. So if you you quote 1,500, you will say, okay, I'm opening a bid bond for 2.5% of that. That's it. It's not fixed. It's not fixed. That's how to ensure it's very easy calculation. If I say the bid bond is X dollar, then you can use the percentage and say your budget, Mr. Client, is this. No, it doesn't go like that. It doesn't go like that. You should have this confidential bid bond. Whatever you think your bid will be, give us 2.5% bid bond to be increased to 10% if you win the bid. 10% of your estimate, 25% of your estimate. Not this is the as you just said, is doesn't need much skills or talent to assess the budget. If you declare a bid bond, and we know it is 10%, you can declare it just as a figure, not a percentage, just as a figure. And you can actually make it a low figure, so that leaks give them the impression that your estimate is 800 million, not 1 billion. As I said, if you want to leak something, leak a low figure, so that if they say, okay, this is the owner estimate, 800, I give him 1,200. We are still in reasonable overprice. Okay. Any more questions, colleagues? Any questions? We still have 24 champions, cost champions, project control champions. Huh? Nora, you have any question? Okay, so apparently we are. I think we are late. Actually, we are late. Okay. Sharif, Rabia, Tariq, Omran, Wasim, Any questions, any suggestions, colleagues? Thank you for your attendance. Salim Ibrahim, Allah Nabil, Magda Muharram, Khalid, Ibrahim Ali. Gentlemen. Okay. 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 Then someone say thanks a lot. Thanks very much. Thank you very much for your attendance and your participation. I wish it could be more participation, but we always expect improvement over the next lecture, inshallah, next Wednesday, 6:30. Thank you very much, my colleagues, and see you, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.